Maple Street looked like a postcard: white picket fences, manicured lawns, and neighbors who felt like family. Children's laughter filled the air, and doors were left unlocked without a second thought. It was a place built on trust, where the biggest worry was a patch of crabgrass. But beneath the surface, something dark was stirring. A silent threat was about to unravel the fabric of this peaceful neighborhood. The first signs were subtle: headaches, nausea, a sense of unease. Residents dismissed these as stress or a passing bug. No one imagined a danger was already among them, something or someone much closer to home. The story begins not with a bang, but with a quiet, unsettling hum. Small discomforts were the first notes in a terrifying symphony, conducted by a hidden hand. The sun still shone, children still played, but a poison was seeping into their lives. Soon the whispers on Maple Street would no longer be of friendly gossip. They would be of sickness, fear, and a dawning, horrifying truth. The Street of Whispers was about to live up to its name. It began with the flowers. Mrs. Gable's prize-winning roses withered overnight. The Henderson's oak tree shed its leaves out of season. These were just plants, so no one worried. Then the pets fell ill. Buddy the golden retriever grew lethargic. 2 cats suffered seizures. The vet was stumped owners heartbroken, but no one saw a connection.
Soon, people started feeling it too. Persistent headaches, nausea, dizzy spells.
Mr. Klein complained of a metallic taste. Doctors found nothing. Others felt crushing fatigue. But what could they say? "Doctor, I just don't feel right." Each family whispered about their ailments, but not to their neighbors. They tried new diets, vitamins, and hoped it would pass. The idea that Maple Street itself could be the cause was unthinkable. They were all living the same story, but each believed they were alone. The invisible thread connecting their suffering remained unseen. Lightning, especially the medical kind, doesn't strike the same street over and over until it does. The sickness was in the air, and no one realized how close it had come. The stage was set for something far worse. The illness was cunning, a slow burn, not a sudden crisis. Good days and bad days blurred together, making it impossible to pinpoint a cause. Residents adapted to feeling unwell. Headaches and fatigue became the new normal. They were frogs in a pot, unaware the heat was rising. The poison was patient, weaving itself into daily life.
Doctors were baffled. Vague symptoms, normal tests, no clear pattern. Stress, allergies, viruses, common culprits, but no answers. No single doctor saw the full picture. The system wasn't built for this.
Life on Maple Street grew muted. Barbecues faded, children played less, and a quiet weariness settled in. People grew isolated, fighting private battles. Smiles over fences no longer reached the eyes. "How are you?" became a question no one answered honestly. The poison was dissolving the bonds of community, leaving each family to suffer in silence. The true danger was as much social as it was physical. The turning point came when the sickness escalated. Mrs. Gable collapsed with kidney failure. Mr. Klein was hospitalized with tremors. Then the miller's daughter fell ill with similar symptoms. A sharp-eyed ER doctor saw the pattern: 3 patients, 1 street, bizarre illnesses. This was no coincidence. It was a cluster.
The doctor called public health, launching an urgent investigation.
Officials went door to door, asking questions. For the first time, neighbors shared their stories and realized they were all connected. Headaches, nausea, sick pets, dying gardens. It was all part of the same nightmare. Theories flew. Was it the water, the soil, the air? Some blamed an old industrial site, others suspected pesticides. The sense of safety was shattered. Every breath and sip of water felt dangerous. Their sanctuary had become a source of fear. The enemy was no longer abstract. It was real, and it was close. The community's trust was replaced by suspicion. The search for answers had begun, but the truth was more terrifying than they imagined. The cluster on Maple Street was only the beginning. The real horror was yet to be revealed. Investigators turned Maple Street into a laboratory, testing water, soil, and air. They mapped illnesses, interviewed residents, and searched for a common thread. The data pointed to a tight cluster of 5 houses. The problem was local, something specific to this patch of Maple Street. After weeks, the lab found the culprit. Thallium, a banned, odorless, tasteless heavy metal poison. The symptoms, hair loss, nerve damage, metallic taste, matched thallium poisoning. The question, now, how did it get there, and who was responsible?
With the poison identified, the case shifted from public health to criminal investigation. Thallium doesn't just appear, it had to be introduced deliberately. This was no accident. It was an attack.
The invisible trail led from vague illness to a specific poison, and now to a human hand. Someone had been intentionally poisoning the residents. Fear curdled into suspicion. The enemy wasn't in the water or soil. It was one of them. A neighbor. A friend. A monster hiding in plain sight. The search for the perpetrator began in earnest. The community's nightmare was about to get a face. The truth would change Maple Street forever. Police asked, who had access and opportunity to poison so many? It had to be someone trusted, someone who moved freely among the homes.
One name kept coming up: Frank, the helpful neighbor. He lived in the center of the cluster, always lending a hand. Need a lawnmower? Frank would lend his. Going on vacation? He'd water your plants.
Frank was always outside, tending his garden, waving to everyone. He brought cookies to new families, offered advice, and seemed to know everyone's schedule. When the Gables roses died, Frank was there with advice. When the miller's dog got sick, he offered sympathy.
Investigators saw Frank's helpfulness in a new light. Watering plants, dropping off cookies, perfect opportunities to poison. He had access to yards, porches, sometimes even homes. His kindness made him invisible, above suspicion.
Police pieced together a timeline. Every act of kindness matched a new illness. A search of Frank's garage revealed banned pesticides, chemistry books, and notes on poisons. The helpful neighbor had been waging a secret chemical war. The motive, however, was the most disturbing part. When Frank was questioned, everyone expected a dramatic motive, but the truth was mundane and terrifying. There was no grand feud, no quest for revenge.
Frank's motive was resentment and a need for control. He felt overlooked, jealous of his neighbor's happiness. Poisoning gave him power. He became the master of their fate. His helpfulness was part of the game, offering sympathy to those he was hurting.
It was a chilling display of the banality of evil. Maple Street was left to pick up the pieces. Some recovered, others suffered permanent damage. The trust that once bound them was shattered. How could they have lived beside a monster and never known?
The story of Maple Street is a warning. Danger doesn't always look like a threat. Sometimes it arrives with a friendly wave and a plate of cookies. Total word count: 1,450 words.